Jom. Mari. This is also private property. Any problem?
Belongs to Mandarin Orange?
Ada apa masalah?
They're saying that this is private property.
Belongs to KLCC.
Now it belongs to KLCC. And who does KLCC belong to? Does it belong to you?
Apa masalah dulu?
Ini private property, ini masalah.
What is the nuisance? Do it where? Inside?
It's up to you.
Where do you want to?
Definitely. If I do it at your house, definitely you will be angry.
I tak agree. Buat lah.
I'm not sure now. Is it Mandarin Orange or
Do they make a report? Do they make a police report?
Are you from
You go and make a
KLCC?
police report. By the time we will be over.
No, but are you from KLCC?
No, I It's about business and homicide. Australian immigration minister. We just want to have a demo so that you know. Ya, kita akan bagi Australian immigration. And then Hisyam Salleh.
You can do it out.
We are a group of NGOs and political parties, organizers in various organizations who are here today to express our displeasure and protest against the signing of the refugee deal between Australia and Malaysia. We have been told that the signing will take place today between Chris Bowen, the Immigration Minister, and Hishamuddin Hussein, the Home Minister. Until today, we have yet to find any details as to what exactly the deal is about. It's still shrouded in a lot of secrecy, but from the little that we have got, we understand that there is a swap of refugees, and at least 800 refugees, or if not more, are actually stopped from claiming asylum in Australia and are being sent back to Malaysia in exchange for money. And
300 million Aussie dollars.
for 300 million Australian dollars. Now, our concern is that, first of all, Australia has ratified the 1951 Convention for Refugees, which means they have an obligation to accept and receive and process asylum seekers at their shore. And what is happening right now is that they are trying to send a message to those who come through boat to their country, to their shores, that they cannot come through that way, and they are basically stopping people and sending them in a way. It is in breach of the international obligation of non-refoulement. Now, what it means is that you are deporting asylum seekers off your country. And what we are especially angry about is that you are sending back to a country like Malaysia, who has a record as one of the worst country that is treating refugees. We have yet to ratify the 1951 Convention. We have yet to reform or abolish the Immigration Act, which allows whipping for migrants. And there is no distinction between a refugee, an asylum seeker, or an illegal immigrant. Anyone who is entered without documents will be deemed illegal, and they will be subjected to whipping. So as long as that is there, and as long as refugees do not have access to education, do not have access to work, do not have access to any healthcare, this is not a place conducive for refugees to settle or to be here.
This will lead, the swap will lead to discriminatory practices, because Gillette has said that they will make sure human rights protection will be given to the 800. Now, if human rights protection is given to 800, what about the 100,000 that are here? So, will preferential treatment then lead to discriminatory practices? And that will create a lot of stress within the refugee community, which we definitely do not endorse. It will also lead to a form of racism, because there are a certain group that we think will be deported, will be mainly, I believe, Afghans, Iranians, Iraqis, who are still waiting to be processed for more than 22 months in Australia, who will probably be among the 800. And so that is a major concern. The other aspect is there's been total lack of transparency in the way the deal is coming through. Malaysia has not said what the details are. Neither has there been any consultation with refugee organizations or the advocates for refugees. And I think this is a major problem, the lack of transparency. Now, the whole swap is, for me, a trade in human beings. Refugees are now becoming commodities that are to be traded for 300 million, and then some are sent over, and this is totally unacceptable. They are people running away for their lives. Now, the justification given is that it will stop smuggling. This is rubbish. Refugees will flee for their lives as long as there's conflict, as long as there are conditions like disaster and so forth to save their lives. They will find any way they can to save their lives. So to say that refugees will stop coming is not acceptable, and it's not true. Now, what will happen is that if both countries want to address smuggling, they have to address the root causes of smuggling. Thank you.
The Australian government says that they will protect the refugees they send to Malaysia from instances of torture and whipping. Is that a lie?
How are they going to assure? Assurances, political assurances, as Ms. Namin Pillay, the Human Rights Commissioner, stated in the global jurisprudence, it does not work. It has to be through a legal process, a legal framework. So, if a deal is to take through, Malaysia has to ratify the Refugee Convention first before the deal is done. So, these political assurances are not acceptable. They cannot monitor what action can Australia take if Malaysia violates refugee rights. It can do nothing.
UMNO Malaysia!